Hi Fernando, welcome to the Quint. Congratulations, beautiful film. Genuinely such good reviews. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, no, I'm very surprised. The film, we had a screening in Mumbai yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Oh, you were there?
Yes.
And it was a very warm reaction. I mean, and I wasn't very sure how people in India would react because it's a reality very far from Europe. But it was good.
Yeah.
So it was all good
That's
news.
the thing about beautiful human stories.
Yeah, because it's human, you're right.
Yeah. But tell me more about how you decided on this script and why you thought this was a story you wanted to bring about to people more.
In 2015, they invited me to make any film, anything on the Pope.
Right.
And I like Pope Francis very much. I think he's a very important voice in the world today. And I said, yes, it's this conversation between Pope Francis and Pope Benedict.
Right.
And the script was brilliant. So I read it and immediately I said, yes, I want to do it.
Right.
And after I signed, I realized that it was a very difficult script because in the end of the day, it was two old men talking about religion and other. And so my challenge was how to make this film entertaining, interesting, and
Right. How much of it would you say was true? I mean, obviously you weren't there during the conversations.
Yeah, actually, the two popes, they did had three private meetings along between 2005 and 2013, but nobody was there to know what they've spoken about.
Right.
So what the writer did, he got a lot of books from both popes and sermons and interviews and combined them, creating a dialogue.
Right.
So everything they say in the film, they really said or wrote at some point.
Right.
That's just one, just remember, a very good line from the writer. He says, nobody can tell they didn't say this.
Do you personally feel like religion in the current world could at some point be a peaceful, positive force that could coexist with ideas of today?
Not sure. I think religion is more, I mean, the way I see it, it's more a point to split the world, to put people against people. Unfortunately, I mean, religion should be about connecting with something that is where everybody's connected.
You still feel like that after the film?
Yeah, but it's not what happened.
Right.
Religion is really used to put people against people and more than to unite people. But that's why I like Pope Francis, because he really tries to create bridges. I mean, he visits Muslim leaders, he visits Jewish leaders, Tibetan leaders. He's really trying to make religion one thing. I think this is beautiful. I'm not very religious myself.
All right.
I'm agnostic,
As you said, it was a risky film, right? Two old men talking to each other for so long. But the ideas that come out are obviously so big. Were you at any point afraid that some people might take it as irreverence, which of course could be a good or bad thing?
I had this brilliant dialogue, and I just needed to make it interesting or appealing for the audience.
Right.
And my trick was to make it very personal, and it worked. I mean, I think if I had approached the film or the dialogue like the Pope talking to the Cardinal, institution against institution, it could have been a very boring. Making it, it's true. Making it very personal and funny, I think, helped a lot.
But did you try from the start to perhaps paint the two ideas of the two popes with a neutral pen? Is that something that you were trying to do in the beginning?
Oh, sorry.
As in, if you starting to watch the film, at the start you feel like, oh, this is supposed to be the bad guy, this is supposed to be the good guy. But slowly it melts into these gray areas. Is that something you did on purpose, or is that something you felt while making the film?
Yeah, well, when I first read the script, for me it was very clear that Pope Francis was the good guy.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy I like. And Pope Benedict was the bad guy, the Nazi, as some people call him in the film. Because he has no charisma, and he's conservative. He likes, he tries to protect the church in a way that I really don't agree. But when I start working on the film and trying to know better and reading some writings from Benedict and talking to people, I realized that actually, he's a very intelligent guy. They say one of the biggest intellectuals in the century. And he has a point. What he says is that the church is an institution to connect us to something bigger than us. So we shouldn't be dealing with the everyday life, with politics or with social issues. I mean, the main function of the church is to connect us with But as you said, now there's more gray areas. I see
Right.
Benedict with gray areas, and I understand him.
Do you think audiences, though, in general, are now more open to like films about controversial or bigger figures that they might look up to, as opposed to when maybe you did City of God in 2002?
10 years ago or 5 years ago, if you wanted to make a film specifically for a certain audience, the niche would be very small, you know. So sometimes you couldn't finance a film because it would talk to very few people. But now in the platform, even if you have a niche, you're talking to millions. That's the beauty of.
Right.
So we can produce much more specific films.
There was some news about you wanting to make a film here.
Thinking about this film on the climate crisis,
Right.
because I'm desperate with climate crisis. I have grandsons, and I think their future will be really bad. And so maybe it's a way to contribute to, because we need to change the way we live, and the only way we change is if everybody's aware of the amount, the size of the problem we're facing. And it seems that nobody really cares because nobody understands.
Nobody.
So yeah,
A whole group of people doesn't believe it's true.
Yes, so a film that shows. But on the other hand, every time you talk about the climate crisis, it's boring. It's there comes that environmentalist, boring environmentalist,
Right.
telling me that my future will be bad, and you know.
We don't need
So
that.
the challenge for this film is finding a way to talk about these issues in a way that engages people. How can I talk about something nobody wants to listen? They should, but they don't want to. That's my challenge.
It's a beautiful film, though. I loved it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for talking to
Thank
us.
you very much.
Thank you.